that game has just begun as we're jumping into Polar Nights for game number 1.
Second best of 5 of the day, indeed. Wow, I got a little thrown off over there. And above all, of course, we don't want to let all the other players wait either. It's already hard to schedule 6 best of 5s a day, and you know, when you think you're playing at a certain time and suddenly everything gets delayed even a little longer, it is better to just for us to continue with our regular show. And as soon as we know something about Major versus Kane, as they didn't really figure out from what part they want to resume or when they want to play, etc., etc., we'll let you know. Either way, Ben, I'm very stoked for this best of 5. As we've seen a little bit of courage in the Chinese qualifier, as we had the pleasure of casting a couple of his games. We were not casting the games live, but we went over his replays, analyzed his style a little bit, and you know, we could only come to one real basic conclusion, and that is that Courage, the red Zerg over here in the 6 o'clock position of Polar Knight, is just a very clean Zerg. He looks solid. He didn't really look too crazy. He just kind of did what you expect a good Zerg to do.
Yeah, sort of reminds me of a Kane or of a Suppy. Maybe that's not a fair comparison because North American players maybe don't have the reputation of being world class necessarily, but Suppy and Kane have both had success on the biggest stages, so maybe that does work out. Alicia, on the other hand, has a reputation for innovation and for abuse as well. We all remember in WCS seasons past the Axiom Sky Toss styles that came about with Mass Void Rays. I don't know if that's still what Alicia's doing, but we do know that Axiom players in general have always kind of had their own way of approaching the metagame, and they've had great success with it, recently performing exceptionally in the GSTL.
Yes, definitely. Alicia's also a player that has very high peaks, but can have pretty low lows as well. But overall, I think over the last 4 or 5 months, he's been pretty damn solid. And whenever I hear TB talk about his players, he always says like, "Oh, Alicia is really good right now. Alicia is really solid. Alicia does well in practice, etc., etc." So I'm expecting a lot over here. But if I have to pick a favorite, I'd go with Alicia, but I would not be that surprised if Courage ends up taking this series, because Courage looked good. Courage is a Chinese Zerg that's been around for a long time. I think that ZVP is one of his stronger matchups, simply for the fact that if you think about players that Courage has to worry about in the Chinese scene, if he wants to qualify for anything, then you're going to think of Jim, you're going to think of Maxset, maybe even off top. So he's probably practicing a lot of ZVP, because in the end of the day, if you're the best in your country, that means often that you can represent your country at some other tournaments like WCG or maybe at WCS and whatnot. So I think it's going to be tough for Alicia, man.
Yeah, I think so too, but I'm very eager to see what kind of shape Alicia is in. Is he at one of those high highs, or is he coming back from one of those low lows, or is he on an upturn or a downturn? It's a big mystery. What we do seem to be getting a hint at is that he might be up to no good.
He's going to open up with 3 gateways. And he has a probe indeed in the back of the map over here against Courage. But looking at Courage's opening, Ben, Courage did not do something crazy. It's not a no gas opening over here. Well, is he going to try to... Because now the Forge goes down. I find that a very odd moment for the Forge to go down. I have no idea what we're going to see, but what I do know, Ben, is that Courage's opening is not greedy at all. It's very solid and safe against any of these gateway pressures. If it's going to be like Zealots with +1, then Courage can still get a Roach 1 down, and he should still be able to mine enough gas to get a couple of Roaches out and be safe and sound in the long run. So we will see. Polar Knight is our first map, as you guys can see. Our introduction was thrown off a little bit by all the things that were happening backstage, but I think we've got it under control. While you were gone, Ben, I threw out the Dutch saying. I'm sure you said you missed it.
What was the saying?
Schoenmaker blijft bij je leest.
What does that mean?
That you have to stick to what you're good at. But I said it didn't really apply because I also think I'm very good at adminning.
You think you're very good at everything?
No, I'm definitely not as good at playing Protoss. I learned that the hard way.
Alicia's up to something, Kev. He's proxied a pylon behind the natural expansion of Courage. Hasn't built anything on that pylon yet. Oh, he's actually warping in Zealots back here. So a little bit of 3-gate Zealot aggression. This can be very frustrating to deal with, as 6 or 9 Zealots can kill a hatchery with very little issue.
Yep, I kind of like where this is going already for Alicia. If Courage does not scout this at all, Ben, he's probably going to make drones.
No, don't send just 3.
No, he's not doing that. He's going to wait for 6, and with 6 Zealots, then he will be able to cancel this hatchery, and then he's already setting himself up for the follow-up with a robotics facility. This could actually come together really well over here.
Yep, this is one of the most frustrating Protoss styles to play against. I never managed to find the pylon, and I always managed to lose my third base. And it looks like I can feel a little bit better about it knowing that players of Courage's caliber also have the same struggles sometimes.
This is bad, man. This queen is going to fall. So far, everything is going exactly according to Alicia's plan. And if I actually think he should have waited until this hatch finishes, because now he's going to cancel it, no?
Yep. So it doesn't get the 300 mineral kill,
still
but
good, of
basically buys the same amount of time that he would have bought otherwise, because that hatchery was basically complete. It is going to be planted once again immediately. I'm not sure if this is enough lings to fight these zealots.
When lings are numbering zealots 1-1, it's often not.
And Courage is going to now be forced to cancel this hatchery once again, I'm afraid, as zealots continue to be a real thorn in his side. Mothership core just waiting overhead. And the zealot warp ends continue. Alicia's getting a lot of mileage out of these zealots alone. He's got his Twilight Council down behind this. Warp Prism on its way out.
I actually think that okay, he's researching Blink and he's getting Immortal. I think with just an Immortal Sentry follow-up, with just Immortal and a bunch of Gateway units, I think that would be really strong. I'm a little bit surprised by that Sentry, but he's going to set himself, by that Twilight, I mean, sorry. But he's going to set himself up for a very strong +2 timing. Look at these +1 Zealots, man. That +1 did finish up for Alicia.
Just brutal. The good news for Courage is that his Roach Warren is up. And he is able to start making roaches, which ultimately will lead to stability. But man, he's going to take a ton of damage in the meantime. Queen going to go down. And that is not the last queen. There's only one more queen on the map, but still this this drone line is going to be exposed to Mothership core fire until that queen can come down or a new queen can be built.
Warp Prism in the back of the main base as well. Alicia's all over this.
Alicia
game #1.
doing it off just 3 gates too, Kevin. A minimal investment from Alicia. This is not crazy 6 gate, 7 gate, 8 gate, cheesy all in. This is 3 gates and taking advantage of the surprise that your opponent is feeling.
Alicia looks really good over here in game 1 now. The game is not over yet, of course, but he's setting himself up for a very strong timing. He's all over the place. He's dealing a ridiculous amount of economic damage. He's up 11 workers, man. The last time I was up 11 workers against the Zerg, I was still in Bronze League.
Or it was the 5-minute mark.
Yeah.
And Zerg had just got done 9 pulling.
Yeah, that's what it was. He kept running zealots up my ramp on Metalopolis. That's the last time I was up 11 workers.
Yeah, well, it's looking great for Alicia. Needless to say, he has maybe finally stabilized. Well, as I say that, the Mothership core is still hammering away at this hatchery, but
Kurt's realizing that there must have been something going on over here in the back of his
and as soon as he's cleaned it all up, we see Alicia pushing out on the map with what else? Immortal Sentry. The perfect follow-up. A lot of people would kind of frown at the Immortal Sentry all-in, but there is no better time for it than when you've done this much damage with 3-gate pressure.
Army supplies are even, and upgrades are heavily in favor of Alicia. It's going to be a +2 timing against just 0-1 for the Zerg player. It was very unfortunate timing for Courage as well when his +1 armor finished. He pretty much lost all of his links already. He's going to try to counterattack or something, but absolutely flawless game by Alicia. Mind-blowingly good.
Yep.
Just so solid from start to finish.
Alicia going to walk right into the natural. There's just nothing there. Courage is desperately trying to build spine crawlers in his main, but I don't know what he hopes to achieve with that. I guess he's going to hope that a base race can save him. But all that Alicia has to do is kill a couple of hatcheries and recall home, and he will lock this down. He'll take out the natural. He will recall back, and just in time to walk out the door that the roaches opened up for him.
And the top 9 Blink Stalkers are going to give chase to this small little roach army that's still out on the map. Zerg is still on 32 drones, man. And on 32 drones, you can make a lot of roaches.
Yep, and you can,
I believe.
On 32 drones, you can mine 1 base very quickly.
That's true too, especially when you only have 1 extractor as well.
Yeah, it's not gonna be easy for Courage to come back in this one. Is it possible? Maybe, Kev. Maybe it's possible, but it's gonna require some absolute. It's probably not possible.
I believe in the roach, man, but on a certain point, I also stop believing. My religion is full of roaches. But at this moment, I feel like an atheist.
70 army supply to 60. Courage is going to continue counterattacking when he realizes that the army of Alicia is out of position, but sadly, this is just too much Protoss, Kev.
The muta transition of 1 extractor is also not a very scary one.
Yeah, 200 gas is enough for 2 mutas.
Now I do believe in the mutas too, but
2 mutas will kill infinity immortals eventually.
That's true.
Yep.
Courage knows what time it is. GG is called. Alicia wins game #1 here on Polar Night after this very strong start with those zealots cancelling the hatch again.